Hi yogis, welcome back to Kate Quinn Yoga. Today we're going to do what's called a full body yin class. So yin and yang, if you've heard of a yin yang, the yin is the slower, sometimes more gentle, but just allowing yourself time to decompress, to calm your nervous system, to clear your thoughts, and promote relaxation. Whereas the yang side is the sun, the vibrant, energizing movements, sometimes the hot, heated ones, the things that get you kind of worked up. So we're going to do the opposite of that today. We'll work into some deeper stretches, so make sure you listen carefully to the cues. And our focus will mainly be the hips and the shoulders, since that's where most people like to target. But we will get into the spine, the neck, the feet, just about everywhere else too. Some optional props for today. We have a pillow, just to help you be comfortable in your final resting pose. And then yoga blocks. If you don't have that, you can use some books and a strap. And if you don't have a strap, you could use a belt. So if you're ready, you can get into a comfortable position on your mat. All right, so let's get started. We're going to start off in any comfortable position. So if it's easier for you to sit, you can sit cross-legged. You can also sit on your heels. I love to do this variation with a block in between my feet. So if you have that, you can go ahead and make yourself, I'll show you from the side, just put the block in between your feet and have a seat right there. Okay, so if that's comfortable, go for it. If you prefer to sit cross-legged, you can do that as well. You can also lay down on your back. So like I said, today's class is about slowing down, learning how to tune into your body and your breath to promote relaxation. So we're going to start off with a breathing exercise. Think about sitting up tall and closing the eyes first, and just sort of notice your body, do a little scan and see what you're feeling. Maybe there's tension in your back or your neck. Maybe your hips feel a little bit tight. Maybe your feet hurt if you've been standing all day. So today's class, we're just trying to undo all of that. And as you come into your body, start to tune into the sound of your breath. Sometimes when we're stressed out, our breath can be really high up in the chest, or it can be difficult to take a deep breath. So this breathing practice that we'll start off with is meant to just kind of calm down and tune you back into your breathing, perhaps after a long or a busy or a stressful day. So this is called the alternate nostril breath. You're going to use your right hand, which I might be opposite on the video here. You're going to take your first two fingers and just place them right in between your eyebrows. And this is kind of just to help you be comfortable. The longer you hold this, your arm might tingle or something like that. Another thing I like to do is take the opposite hand, my left hand, with a fist and just kind of stick it under your armpit. And it sort of props your arm up, again, so you're not holding your arm in place. This might look a little weird, but just know that you're at the comfort of your home, so no one's watching, okay? The fingers we're gonna use are your thumb and your ring finger, and they're going to open and close each nostril as we're moving, okay? So placing the two fingers in between your brow, you can close your eyes. We're gonna start off by breathing through the right nostril. So take your left ring finger and place that on your left nostril. Take a deep inhale. At the very top of your inhale, close both nostrils. So use your thumb. And then as you exhale, release your left nostril, but keep the right closed with your thumb. Breathe all the way out. Then we'll inhale through the left, so don't move. Close both nostrils at the top. And as you exhale, breathe out your right nostril, releasing the thumb. Inhale through the right. Close both nostrils at the top. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close both nostrils. Exhale through the right. Release the thumb. Stay here. Inhale through the right. Close both nostrils at the top. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close both nostrils at the top. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close at the top. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close at the top. Exhale through the right. I want you to keep going if you can while you listen to my voice. So sometimes you get a little congested at the start. And if that's the case, you can use your thumb to kind of push your cheek away from your nostril. Right? That's just going to help open up the sinus. On this side, you can use your ring finger. Again, just kind of push your cheek over, and that opens up your breathing. So you should notice after a few rounds of this that your breath responds, your nostrils open, and it just becomes a little bit easier to breathe. Okay, so if you can, try to pick up with me where we left off. Keeping the eyes closed, really tune in to the sound of your breath and everything that your hand is doing here. Okay, inhale through the right, closing the left nostril. Close both nostrils at the top. Exhale through the left. Inhale through left. Close both nostrils. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close both nostrils. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Close both nostrils. Exhale through the right. This will be our last full round. Inhale through the right. Deep, deep, deep breath in, deepest one you've taken. Close at the top. Exhale through the left. Complete your exhale. Breathe all the way out. Inhale through the left. Deep, deep, deep. Inhale. Close both nostrils. Full, complete exhale through the right. Once you're done, just take your hand away from your face. Bring both hands to your knees, sitting up tall. And just allow yourself some recovery breaths. So just notice or try to have a normal breath in and out. Maybe thinking of an intention for your practice today. What do you want to feel by the time we're finished? And that can be a physical feeling, like releasing tension. It can be more of a mental feeling, like less thinking or slowing down my thoughts, or having maybe a little more clarity in my thoughts instead of being scattered. And it can also be an emotional feeling that we're trying to create. So I want to feel happy, or I want to feel calm or peaceful. And so we set intentions in our yoga practice so that we have something to come back to. Right? Yoga is all about creating a connection between our body and our breath and our minds. So anytime that our thoughts begin to wander, or we find ourselves thinking negatively, it's a chance to come back to that intention and say, no, this is what I want to feel. So this is where I'm going to focus my energy and my thoughts. So take a moment to just contemplate one more time that feeling you'll cultivate today. We'll take one breath here Maybe inhaling to reach the arms up, whether you're seated or laying down, big stretch. And then an exhale to bring the hands back down by the sides. And gently blinking your eyes open if they're still closed. So let's start, let me think. We'll stay in a seat. So if you're on your back, I'd like you to come up and we'll sit cross-legged. So if you decided to kneel, come on back to your seated position. All right. So we'll start when you're ready. Taking an inhale. Again, let's reach the arms up overhead. You'll interlace your fingers at the top and then press your hands away. So palms face up to the ceiling. Just try to lift, maybe kind of wiggle the ribs side to side. Keep trying to pull your arms higher up. Make sure you're still breathing. Try to breathe into your belly. And then as you exhale again, just kind of rocking the hands from side to side. Start to notice the space we're creating in the rib cage. And this is meant to open up your lungs, not just your ribs. The muscles in between your ribs can help promote a deeper breath. So as you rock side to side, think about that. The next time you exhale, your inhale will take you back to center. One more inhale to lift, reach. And then as you exhale, take your right hand to the floor. We'll reach the left arm over to the side, bend the left elbow. Try to press into your hand. Bend your right elbow. Press into your hand to help you lift up. Just deepening that stretch into the ribs. Inhale, we'll rise back up. Maybe look up to the top. Exhale, take your left hand to the floor, bend the left elbow, reach the right arm over. One more inhale, try to fill your lungs. And one more exhale. Inhale, come all the way up. Gaze to your fingertips. Now exhale, we'll take the right hand behind your back or just back behind you somewhere. And your left hand will come to your right knee. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, without trying to crank yourself, just gaze back. If you want to go a little deeper or towards a deeper sensation, try to roll your right shoulder back behind you. I don't know if you can see that. This is what I'm doing, okay? So roll the shoulder back. Try to open up the space at the front of your chest. Take an inhale, try to press into that hand on the floor. Maybe it's fingertips. Lift a little higher. Exhale, return to center. Inhale, let's reach the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, take your left hand behind you. Your right hand comes to your left knee. Inhale, try to sit up taller. Exhale, just roll that left shoulder back. Maybe gazing back towards your left shoulder. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, reach both arms up. From here, I want you to flex your feet. Stay in this position. Maybe wiggle your bottom back just an inch or two. And as you exhale, reach your hands in front of you. Try to keep your chest lifted so we're kind of rolling the shoulders down the back, engaging the muscles of your spine or that run alongside your spine. And then start to maybe just walk the fingertips a little further out. Keep trying to keep your chest lifted. You should feel this mainly in the back of the hips. So right at the top of your glute, the top of your pelvis. And then it might feel nice to walk over to the side a little bit. Keep trying to reach your fingertips further out without being forceful or moving into a place of discomfort. Funny thing happens, we'll inhale back to center and exhale to the opposite side. So if anything happens with your body, it's a safety or a precautionary response that our muscles give us. If you try to push past your limits, your body just will fight back by squeezing and engaging certain muscles to protect itself because it doesn't want to hurt itself. So when we constantly work to our depth going towards like almost pain or discomfort, you're actually not really helping to relieve any tension, you're creating more. So it's important to find this kind of sweet spot in our stretches. Let's inhale back to center. And then exhale, just walk your hands up. Making sure that we're never going too far. Okay, that's my main point here. Let's move into the neck a little bit. So I want you to take your your right hand behind your back. And that can be just the back of your palm to your lower back. If you have the room, you can try to reach your hand all the way over to the opposite side. You might even get into the hip crease of your opposite hip. Okay, that's not the point though. Just rest your arm back here. We'll take the hand to the back of the head and gently just draw your chin towards your armpit. Keep trying to sit up nice and tall here. I love to, as I hold my head, just kind of tilt the eyes up. Maybe lift the chin just slightly. You'll move into the front of your neck, the SCM, sternocleidomastoid. And then as you draw the chin down, we'll move into the upper traps and kind of the back of your neck, some of the suboccipital muscles. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, look up. And exhale, look down. And then inhale, just releasing the hand slowly back to center. Let's take it to the other side. Left hand comes behind you. Your right hand goes to the back of your head. First, just draw the chin towards the armpit. Keep sitting up tall. And then inhale, gently lift the chin towards the ceiling. These muscles are pretty tiny, but they do a whole lot, so be careful. Don't go further than you need to. And now we'll move with the breath a little bit. So inhale, you can look down towards the armpit. Exhale, look up, or vice versa, whatever flows naturally. Just back and forth one more time. And gently release. Then just take your head and sort of roll from shoulder to shoulder. Think about touching your ear to each shoulder. And just do that a couple times. Loosening up the neck. Then we'll move our shoulders in some circles. Let's do 5 in one direction. Ooh, you might hear some pops and cracks. And then 5 in the other direction. All right, I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see a little better. So next, just take your feet out in front of you. We're gonna find a seated cat-cow, so holding right under the kneecaps. You can bring your feet in a little bit closer maybe. All right, as you inhale, you're gonna draw your knees out and try to gently pull your chest forwards. So really sitting up tall, we'll lift the chin. As you exhale, bring your knees together and then slowly just roll back. So feel your tailbone tuck. Your chin comes into your chest. We'll do that 4 more times. Inhale, open the knees. Gently draw forward with the chest, shoulders back. Exhale, around the spine. Lean in. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale. All right, you can cross your legs. Let's just roll onto the knees. And if you need to, you can always just fold your mat like that, or place a towel or a blanket underneath you. All right, we're gonna start by taking the right leg out, and you'll bring your whole foot onto the floor. So the pinky toe edge, make sure that's touching. The rest of your body is stacked right over this bent knee. Okay, we'll inhale, right hand to the hip, take your left arm up. And as you exhale, just a gentle fold over to the side. So try to make this a little bit active by pressing that straight leg foot down into the mat, just a little. Don't be aggressive. Remember, this is all about being gentle with our bodies. Inhale, try to reach and lift up. You should feel a lot of this into the inner thigh. And then exhale, use this hand on your hip to help you come back up. Keep your right hand up, but just take it down to the floor. We'll move into the spine. So inhale, sorry, this is your left hand. Inhale your right arm up. Try to lean your right hand back behind you. So just a gentle twist. And then as you exhale, take your right hand and try to bring it under your left. And just see where your body lets you go with this. Inhale, open. We'll do this a couple times. Limbering the spine. Exhale, close the door. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. One more. Good. All right. Inhale, come back up. Place this left hand all the way down to the floor, and then take your left foot and just turn it in just slightly to give you a little more balance. We're going to take the right leg up and hold it. So flex your right foot, try to press the foot away. And if you can, your hips probably go back a little bit. Try to push your hips forward. Make sure your lower back feels safe. Option to go a little further by taking the right hand in the right foot and then pressing the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot. Slight little back bend. Shoulder, heart opener. Take one more inhale. Exhale slowly, carefully, take that back down. And then just bring both knees to the floor and we'll come up to switch sides. First, take a moment here in a kneeling position. Maybe catching your breath. Sometimes back bends, heart openers can be a little heating. So we're just trying to limber up. All right, when you're ready, left foot comes out. Again, press the pinky toe edge of the foot into the floor. Left hand to left hip. Inhale, reach your right arm up. Exhale, slight fold to the side. So really think more about lifting and lengthening, how tall you can reach this hand to the ceiling, than how deep you fold into it. And again, a little activity pressing the foot into the floor to wake up the inner thighs. One more breath here. Gaze up to your fingers if that feels good. And then exhale, use the hand on your hip to help you come back up. We'll take this right hand to the floor. I love to do fingertips. I just feel like then I don't rely so much on my hand and I'm building that core strength. All right, so your opposite arm will come up and overhead. Try to lean back, gently turning the heart to the ceiling. And then exhale, close the door. Bring that hand all the way through. A couple more times. Inhale, open. Maybe pressing the hips forward if that feels safe. Make sure your lower back feels good. Exhale, twist. Remember, I should have said this on the other side. If this is too much, your block or your books will come in handy here if you feel any pinching down into the lower or side body. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist. Last one. And exhale. All right, hand to your hips. Just turn your right foot in slightly to give yourself a little more balance. You can always test that out a little, just lifting and lowering. When you're ready, lift the whole leg up. Press the foot into that imaginary wall. Flex your foot. And then if it feels okay, try to squeeze your hips forward. So engaging the glutes, it might challenge your balance. If that's enough, stay here. If you want a little more, grab the foot with your hand, press your hand into your foot. Slight little back bend. Allow that shoulder to drop open. Keep your belly engaged. Deep breath in. And exhale, gently, carefully release. Coming onto the hands and knees from there. We'll tuck our toes. And then with the toes tucked, try to wiggle your heels back just a little bit. I'll build a progression here. So first, just sitting back onto your heels. And if that feels good, you feel a nice stretch into the arches of your feet, stay there. If you want a little bit more, just press your hands into the mat. So that kind of pushes you back even further. This is called intense foot stretch. So if it feels intense, it kind of should be, but not painful, remember. All right, if you still need more, you want to test your limits a little bit without pain, you can start to walk your hands up, maybe sitting all the way back onto your feet. I love to make this kind of a meditative pose, closing the eyes and just really tuning into sensation. Feel all of that intensity building into your feet. Try to calm it down and calm down your mind with your breath. So big inhale, big exhale. You have one more to go. Good. After you exhale, just crawl your way forward. We'll untuck the toes and give your toes a little tap on the floor to shake that out. And then just sit on your feet or on your heels. Okay, if that's good, stay there. If you have the space, fingertips might come behind you. Lean back. I like to lift the glutes, kind of tuck the tailbone under even more to get a nice stretch up into the hip flexor. Okay, so we're going to move into the ankles. Lift one knee, lift the other knee. And just start to walk back and forth. You might get some nice little cracks and pops. If you want more, you can lift both knees and lean back. This is kind of like a little boat. So rocking back and forth, maybe to the sound of your breath. All right, and then slowly just walk your hands up. And let's come back to our seated position. So we'll move into the shoulders next. This is where a strap might come in handy. So we're going to take Gomukhasana arms, cow face arms they're called. So if you have a strap, you know what, I'm going to show you this from the back. Okay, if you have a strap, you're going to take your right arm up and you can hold the strap in your right hand, give yourself a little slack. As the right hand bends or elbow bends, you're going to reach back with your left arm and try to hold it. Okay, so if that's good, stay there. If you have the space, start to crawl your hands towards each other. All right, and if you still need more, you can release the strap and try to get at least your fingertips to touch. If your fingertips touch, great. If you have more, you can also kind of like interlock your hands. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways just so you can see. We don't want to do this just to get into the posture. Okay, so keep lifting your chest. Try to draw your chin slightly back. And maybe the elbow just kind of rests on the back of your head. Feeling all the tension maybe in the back of the arm, the triceps. Start to loosen. Take one more inhale. And one more exhale. One more inhale, sorry, one more. We need one more. And exhale, carefully, gently releasing. All right, just take your arms out. I'll show you again from here in a T position, and then bend your elbows at 90 degrees and try to draw your elbows back. Nice little heart opener here. Try not to move the spine too much so we're not in a deep back bend. Keep this all hugged in. Just elbows back. Good, and then give yourself a hug. I don't want to hit my mic, but interlace your fingers. Don't interlace. Just take your fingers and kind of draw them back towards your shoulder blades. Good, go ahead and release that. So we'll take the other side now. Again, your left arm will come up. Bend your left elbow, reach back, and then right arm comes up and under this time. So grab your strap or walk your fingertips together, maybe locking at the fingers. Okay, try to draw your hips down and your chest up without back bending. Hug the belly in. Tune into your breath whenever we reach a pose that is intense for you. So this option or the opportunity that you're given by going slower is to be more aware. Take an inhale here. And exhale, gently, carefully let go. Again, arms will come out to that L shape. We call it cactus arms. And then just draw your elbows back. Feel the chest stretch. And then hug yourself. Maybe thinking about which arm was on top. Can you do the opposite this time? If you forget, don't worry about it. Try to walk your fingertips to your shoulder blades. And it might feel good to round a little bit here. You can also just tuck your chin into your chest. All right, gently release. Give your shoulders a nice little roll. And let's come forward onto our hands and knees for one more, moving into the shoulders. So we're going to take child's pose. This one's a little bit more multitasking. Your knees are going to come wide all the way to the edges of your mat. Your toes are going to come together and then sit back onto your heels. Okay, from there, walk your fingertips forward. So we're tenting the hands up like this instead of just laying flat. If you have blocks, that's your other option. I would stay on the lowest setting, and then you can keep your hands flat if tenting is too much. All right, so tented fingers, walk your fingertips forward. Try to soften your heart down to the floor. Notice that my head is lifted and I'm just looking to the top of the mat. Okay, so we're not taking child's pose. This is not a resting pose. This is an active shoulder stretch. Keep trying to walk your fingertips further out. And then press your hands into the mat or your fingertips. We're going to do a small itty bitty cat-cow here. Okay, so as you inhale, try to soften and lower your chest to the mat. And then as you exhale, squeeze your belly and try to curl your ribs in. Again, inhale, soften the heart down. Just see what you can do today. Exhale, squeeze the belly, draw the ribs in. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Carefully walk your hands back up. And then walk your knees together. I know I might have said one more thing for the shoulders, but now this is really the last one until we move forward. Okay, so this is called hammock pose. You need to be careful with the front of your shoulder, so please just do what you can. This should not hurt anywhere. Sometimes the elbows will feel it the most if you hyperextend at your elbow joint, so a little softening in the elbows can be good too. Okay, you're going to take your hands behind you, out into, turn your fingertips out to the sides. All right, and if you want a little bit more, I like to turn my fingertips all the way back to the back of the mat. But again, we tend to dump into the elbows there, so if you're going to do that, try to start here in this bent elbow position. Okay, you can bend your knees, plant your feet to the floor, and then you're just going to scooch your hips forward until you start to feel a little stretch into the front of your chest and the front of your shoulders. Okay, so it's called hammock pose because eventually we can just kind of rest here. And it should feel fairly comfortable. There's definitely a sweet spot, and it's definitely possible that you can go too far and then it doesn't feel so good at all. So if your body is telling you this is too much, it's your job to listen. Take one more big breath. And exhale. It's probably easier to just scoot your hands up a little bit at a time. All right, and then any last little movements you might need here to release any of that, maybe straightening and bending the elbows, maybe rolling out the shoulders. All right, so we're gonna start to work our way down into the lower back and the hips. If you have a block, please grab it. I'm gonna put it on the medium setting. If your hips are really tight, you're probably gonna wanna do this with 2 blocks. Okay, so we're taking Malasana or a yogi squat. You're gonna sit up on your blocks. We'll take the toes turned out to the sides. So they're kind of at like a 45-degree angle. And then if you can, bring your heels in a little bit closer. Not so close that the heels lift though, okay? I'm gonna scoot down to one more block. So I'd prefer you sit up a little bit, even if you can go to your full range and hold yourself up. That can be a little intense, and we're trying to be calm today, right? So leaving your chest nice and tall, sitting up straight. Let me turn towards y'all. Take your elbows in between your legs. So we're gonna do the Gyan Mudra, which is just the index and the thumb together, and your other 3 fingers are spread out. It's typically the Om, like when people are meditating, right? So this is just meant to give us something to concentrate on, okay? I want you to straighten your arms and then use the backs of your arms to press into the inner part of your knees. Okay, so as I'm doing that, trying to open my knees wider, I'm also trying to lift the chest and sit taller. And then close the eyes and come back to your breath. And there's lots of fun little variations that we can take here. So I'll show you just a couple. And if you find one that feels great, please stay there. Right, so the first one is a little twist. You can take your right hand to your left ankle, left shin, left knee, whatever you can reach. And then the opposite arm comes up and over. It's kind of like a side bend with a twist. You can also use this elbow to the same knee instead as a little leverage. Okay, just be careful. So if you're going to do that, try both sides. Okay. Your other option, one more shoulder opener if you need it, is to take the back of your hand to the back of your back and try to get the front of your elbow, this is kind of crazy, into the front of your knee. It might be intense, so you might only want to just do one shoulder at a time. But if you're pretty open, whoop, you can get both shoulders. This kind of looks crazy. Both elbows into your inner thighs. Okay, and this is a stretch for the backs of the shoulders. Make sure that you're safe. You're not hurting your elbow joint or your shoulder joints. This is called a chicken squat. That's what my teachers called it. Really good for the rotator cuff. All right. And then there's always the classic, just sitting with palms together. All right, if you kept your Gyan Mudras, try to squeeze the fingers together to really feel that. We have about 5 more breaths wherever you are. And with all that upper body movement, you are also releasing the hips just by staying in this squat. And we're loosening our back muscles as well. One more big inhale. And open the mouth to exhale. All right, you can release, just bring the knees back together. And let's come all the way down back to our seat. And then I want you to grab your strap and just place it near you. Even if you don't think you're going to use it, it's nice to have it so we don't have to get back up. Okay, so this next sequence is mainly for the hips and the hamstrings. And we're not going to get off the floor, so you're going to kind of stay, and we're just flopping around in all different directions. Okay, this is a fun one. So let's come onto our backs to start. We're going to take the right knee into the chest for Apanasana. Right, if you need to, you can keep that left leg slightly bent. If you want things to be a little more active, flex your left foot and press it down into the floor just slightly. And as you squeeze that left upper thigh, you should feel a little bit of a stretch into your left hip flexor. Good. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Okay, so we're going to keep the right knee into the chest. I'm going to turn away from you so you can see this. you're going to start to roll onto your left hip. Okay, so if you're familiar with dancer pose, this is basically dancer on your side. Okay, you can take your left foot slightly out in front of you and keep the foot flexed so you have something to help you balance. Then you're going to reach back and hold your right foot with your right hand. Okay, if you can easily grab that, try to bring your knees together. If you are struggling, this is where your strap comes into handy. So just get that strap around the top of your foot, and now you have a little more leverage. Right, once you get a hold and you're comfortable, try to, again, draw the knees in close to each other. You can also squeeze your bottom just a little, kind of pressing your hips forward. And if you fall around, you fall forward, you fall backwards, it's totally fine. Good. Deep breath here, allowing that quad, the front of your thigh, to open. And carefully releasing. So now we're going to take tree on our side. You're going to bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. If that's too much, just bring it down to your left calf. Okay, I like to use the right hand in front of me to balance. Same idea. You're trying to sort of press your hips forward, but at the same time, draw your knee back behind you. So even if it's a very subtle move, you're still doing it right. Deep breath in, and exhale, release. So we'll take this right knee now and bring it down in front of you. And if you're on hardwood or a yoga mat, you might want to throw a pillow or a towel under there. I'm just going to scooch a little bit over to the left. So the right knee is down in front of the right hip, and you can stay on your belly with your head down if that feels right. Or you can start to take your elbows up to the floor. Okay, I don't know if you can see this on the video, so I'm just gonna show you from this side. Okay, so your knee comes directly out from your hip, and then try to get your ankle in line with your knee. Okay, this is called half frog, just a very passive little hip opener. To make it more active, you can try to lift the foot with the foot flexed. Right, you can do some little lifts and lowers there. You can also get really funky and reach for your left leg and draw that into your hips while your other leg is extended. So there's always ways to play around and be a little curious with what your body can do today. But never moving into a point or a place of discomfort, too much discomfort or pain. All right, take one more breath here. And exhale. We're just going to roll all the way back to the side. So again, this is going to be where your strap might be handy to put a loop around, this time, the bottom of your foot. Okay, you're going to extend your leg straight. And this is, again, a little bit of a balance pose, so be careful with yourself. But you're just going to try to keep your leg straight and draw it in towards your body. Okay, you might fall a little bit from side to side. That's okay. Just see what you can do. This posture is called Krishna's couch. If you can, peace fingers can go to your big toe. You can also come up and sort of use your left hand to rest your head on. Nice little inner thigh opener. Take a deep breath here. Big exhales out. Okay, if you think you can do this carefully, you can just roll to your back, keeping the connection of foot to hand or hand to strap. All right, so just slowly start to close the hip. You can bend your knee if you're a little nervous. And we'll move into a straight hamstring stretch. Okay, so just start to allow your leg to loosen a bit. really, we're just looking to feel a little bit of release here in the back of the thigh. If you need less, you can always bring this other foot to the floor. If you need more, keep that leg straight. And then you can also press your foot into the strap. Okay, don't come to a point where you're pulling on the leg. We want this to be fairly calm. Your head shouldn't be off the floor. Right, just relax. All right, maybe 2 more breaths here. This is where things get a little funky. So when you're ready, bend this knee. You can release your foot from your strap, and you're going to place the foot down to the floor. All right, and then use your hands. Just help yourself sit up. So we're setting up for a twist here. You're going to hug your left arm around your right knee. Your other option to go deeper is to cross the leg all the way over, but that's optional. We're trying to take it easy today. I like to bring the foot next to the thigh because then you have more space to turn the body. All right, so hugging this knee in, try to take your right shoulder back behind you. Again, fingertips to the floor, sit up tall. If you have the space, you can also take left elbow across the thigh. Okay, and then go a little deeper. Just make sure this feels safe. You're not, again, cranking anything. Make sure you're breathing with your belly. Inhale and exhale. All right, releasing the twist. We're taking this left hand behind you now, so you'll kind of roll onto that knee. And from here, we're pressing into the hands to come up to a 3-legged dog. So you're staying on your left foot. We're still using the right leg. The right leg's going to come up high. And then you're going to open the hips. So bend your right knee. Try to bring your right foot over to the left side of your mat. And maybe moving into some circles here with that leg. You can always bend and straighten the leg and see how that feels. You can really target the hamstrings by keeping the hips closed, we call it. So both of my hip bones are facing the floor instead of turning out to the side. Right, deep breath in. And then we'll draw this right knee in towards the face. So your right knee is going to go to your right wrist. Your right foot's going to go towards your left wrist. Right, so setting up for pigeon pose, just seeing where you can go with this today. A couple options. Put a block under your right bottom. If you have that pillow, that would be a good one for this. Okay, you can place the pillow down in front of you and come on down to your elbows, or rest all the way down onto the pillow with your face. Right, I want this to be a fairly passive stretch today. If you're feeling a whole lot and you're like, this is crazy, what is she doing? Then here's your modification. So we call it the box sit. You have 2 L shapes out of your legs. Okay, so I have an L shape coming from my knee, my back knee to my heel. There's 1 L. And then from my hip, the right knee is straight out and then 90 degrees bent for my foot. Okay, and for that, you can just sit here. You can also, again, walk forward if that feels okay. You can also use this block to prop the knee if it's really tight and you just can't quite do any of this. Okay, so honor your body and just see where you're at today. If you have been doing pigeon for a long time and you want to play around, you can always reach for this back leg, draw that in. Maybe you're working on your king pigeon, trying to reach both arms back behind you. Okay, the main thing is we never want to feel pinching in the back here or up in this front hip. Okay, so try to keep everything turned towards the back of your mat. Try to kind of squeeze the belly a little bit, even though you're in a back bend. I love to do this with pressing the top of that back foot down into the floor, making the back leg active. So feel free to be creative. That's what it's all about. Exploring your body, seeing where you're carrying your tension. And if you don't have tension in the places that this pose targets, then that's where you get to be playful. Like, what if I turned that way instead? Or what if I tried to engage a certain muscle? What if I did this with no hands? Right? So the possibilities are endless once you get familiar with the posture. Right. Let's take one more big inhale wherever you are. And then exhale. Bring your hands back in front of your leg, your right leg. We'll tuck the left toes and just slowly make your way back to that three-legged dog position. Again, bending the knee, opening the hip, taking circles. Just trying to clear out. All right, so we're almost done with this side. The last position, you're gonna take your right foot all the way over to the right and then keep on going. So notice how the left heel will turn out. Okay, we're not moving into wild thing, we're just using this as a transition. So right foot will come down behind the left, and then you're spinning until you come back down to this seat. All right, and that's it. That was our first side. So now we're gonna start coming down onto the back with the left knee into the chest. Okay, try to relax your body, your upper body especially. I'm gonna talk a little less as we start to move closer towards our Shavasana. It's more about listening to what your body wants, exploring the sensations that you feel. And that's how we find that mind-body connection. If you're feeling a lot of sensation, listen to those cues and give yourself a break. And if you are struggling to focus on the mind, then always please come back to the breath. Just allow that soothing sound of inhale, exhale, be what guides you into relaxation. Deep breath here, and then release gently. Take that left foot to the floor and roll onto your right hip. We'll start with our little dancer stretch. So again, maybe using your strap, wrapping that around the top of your left foot. Try to draw the left heel towards the left glute. And then as you do that, maybe draw the knees in together. You can also squeeze your hips forward, engage the glutes. Allow the ebb and flow of your balance to happen. If you tilt forward or backwards, be okay with that. Every practice, every time we step on our mat is just an opportunity to be curious. On your next exhale, gently release your foot. We'll take the left foot to the right inner thigh or the right calf, whichever is better. Use your left hand to prop you up. And then as you squeeze your hips forward, try to draw your left knee back. If you feel intense sensations in your body and you also start to feel that release happening, I love to just take a big exhale and just sigh it out. So if that calls you at any point, go for it. All right, carefully releasing the foot, just draw that knee down to the floor. As you begin to roll to your belly, again, you might scoot a little over to the side of your mat to pad your knee. So look at this leg, make sure you've got a 90-degree angle. And then again, just laying on the belly, your head can come down. If you'd like a little more, come up onto the elbows. You can also lift and lower this leg to work your glutes, explore your hip joint. This shouldn't be the biggest stretch in the world, but it does offer the hip joint itself a chance to release. Remember, you can always bend this back leg as well and reach for the thigh. Lots of options. Inhale. Big sigh. Okay, make your way back onto your side. Again, maybe your head is supporting your head. Your hand is supporting your head. We'll take this left knee up and then straighten the leg. Again, use your strap first, or maybe just grab the big toe and straighten out the leg. Use your bottom leg with the foot flexed to help you find your balance. Sometimes bringing the foot slightly out in front of you makes that easier. Deep breath in. And again, if you can stay with your strap in your hand, please do. Otherwise, maybe bend your knee to be a little safer. Begin to roll onto your back, and we'll move into our hamstring stretch. So get to a point where your leg can be straight. If you were holding your toe and now it's too much, let go. Grab your strap. Try to keep your upper thigh engaged. If you're holding your big toe, try to press your big toe into your fingers. And then again, you can always keep this bottom leg bent or straight. Deep inhale. And exhale, bend the knee. Releasing the foot, just take your left foot to the floor. Use your elbows to help you sit up. We'll move into our twist, so keeping the left foot close to the left hip. Your left arm comes behind you. Inhale to reach the right arm up, and then either hug the elbow or hug the leg with your elbow, or reach the right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Use that to guide your twist. Try to sit up as tall as you can. Don't worry about how deep you're twisting. Maybe a little flex to that straight leg. Deep inhale. And exhale, just allow that left knee to drop out to the side. You're gonna twist back, getting both hands to the floor, and then try to lift yourself up. Staying on the right foot, your left leg will come up to three-legged dog. If you need to readjust your right foot, go for it. And then again, either open the hip and find your big circles, bend and straighten the leg, or keep the hips squared and focus on keeping the legs straight. Wherever you are, take one more big breath. And exhale, draw the left knee into your left wrist, coming down onto the shin. Start to walk your right foot back. And so one day your hip might be on the floor. If that's not happening today, get your block. That's why we use props. Just place that under your hips. Again, your pillow might come in handy. You can lay down on that or just start to walk your hands forward, coming to elbows. Maybe resting the head down. If this is way too much, remember you have your two 90-degree angles, the box sit. We're still trying to face that left leg. Try to sit tall. Keep the spine long. Maybe hinge forward at the hips if you need a little more. Remember to explore if this pose is familiar to you. You can twist, gazing back behind your left shoulder. You can try it with no hands. You can work on back bending, opening the chest and the shoulders. You can reach back for this leg. So remember, be creative. Just see where your body lets you go today. Let's take one more big breath. Big sigh out. And then walk your hands up to be in front of your left knee. You're going to lift your back toes. Use that to help you press and lift the left leg up to your three-legged dog. One more time, just moving that left leg in circles. Okay, your option is to just keep that right leg down on the floor. Do this with all fours instead. Sometimes I forget to show you that on the first side. Apologies. All right, when you're ready, left foot comes all the way over to the right. Start to turn your left heel. Nope, your right heel out to the left. And then left foot comes behind the right leg. That's going to help you sit all the way down onto the floor. All right, so let's extend both legs out in front of you. Just give your feet a shake in and out. And just allow your legs to be really soft, maybe shaking the knees up and down. Make a little thunder. All right. And then bend your knees and just slowly make your way all the way down to your back. We'll finish up with what's called banana pose. One more full little side bend. So you're going to hold opposite elbows with your hands. Take that overhead. And then begin to walk your feet over to the left. So they'll come off your mat. This is a side bend. Okay, if you want a little more, cross your right ankle on top of your left. You might feel that move up the right hip, the IT band. If you still need more after that, you can also scooch your shoulders over to the left. Okay, so your body begins to look like a banana shape. And if you haven't closed your eyes yet, please do. Getting ready for Shavasana. Just trying to lengthen out and release the whole right side. Try to imagine sort of massaging your right side with your breath. To release your chest first, back to center, then uncross the legs if you did. Walk your feet over to the middle, and then all the way over to the left. This time, over to the right. This time your left ankle will be on top. If you need more, scooch those shoulders over to the right. Make sure that both of your sits bones, the bony part of your bottom, and your two shoulder blades are still touching the mat. Okay, so your whole back the back side should be what's touching the floor. Maybe a big exhale. Just reminding your body that we're slowly moving to our rest. And maybe here before Shavasana, realizing any changes that have occurred since we started. Carefully release your shoulders back to center and then uncross your ankles. If you did, take them back to center as well. We'll take the arms down to the sides and move into our final resting position. So if you're comfortable, I like to call Shavasana starfish pose, bringing your feet all the way out to the sides and let your hands come out to the sides as well. So you look more like a star than a line or a plank. Right? And since you're at home and you might have other props available to you, you can always place this block under your chest for a little bit of heart opening. So right in between the shoulder blades, enough so that your head can still come down. This is going to open up the chest. If you're close to a wall, you can go ahead and put your legs up the wall. If you have a pillow, that pillow can go under the backs of your legs. I'll just show you that real quick. Okay, so take the pillow right off your bed and just the backs of your knees will go right onto that pillow. And that just provides a little more comfortable position for your spine. Get your pelvis kind of tucked under into its neutral position. Please know that really any position that is most comfortable, where you don't have to work anymore, is best. Okay, so if you like to sleep on your side, you can roll onto your side for this. If you prefer to lay on the belly is a great way to calm the nervous system. If you're still feeling a little anxious, I would recommend that. And just enjoy the softness of your muscles. With every exhale, let your body sink a little bit deeper into that softness. If you need to fidget, wiggle, readjust a couple times, that's okay. But once you find that spot, try not to move after that. Tune back into the sound of your breath without trying to change it. Let it become automatic. Inhale, exhale. Notice the steadiness, the rhythm. And we're going to do a little focused meditation here. So I want you to notice every time that your thoughts wander off to some other place outside of your body. It might be a sound that you hear or a thought. And every time your mind wanders, I want you to say to yourself, just notice, I noticed that I was thinking, but now I'm going to come back to my breath or back to my body, whatever that one thing is that you choose to concentrate on. And it might happen every single second or every couple minutes. But this idea of returning is what I want you to focus on or practice. The more still that your body becomes, the easier it becomes to tune into the thoughts and to notice how our distractions cause us to miss out on that connection of body and mind. You are welcome to stay in this position as long as you like, practicing your focused meditation. If you feel ready to begin moving, you can start to wiggle your toes and your fingers. Slowly making your way to one side. And then using your hands to help you sit up. Maybe keeping the eyes closed the entire time. If you're still on your back, please stay. If you chose to come to a seat, take this last moment to just observe body, mind, connection, the rhythm of your heartbeat, knowing that the most important thing is to have a balance of your practice. If you typically like to work hard, you also need to rest. Revisiting your intention. What was the feeling that you wanted to create today? And if you didn't quite get there, it's okay. Every time we turn on our mats is a new opportunity. Lastly, you can bring your hands together at your heart and bow the head to the hands, simply as a sign of gratitude for our bodies, for this practice, and for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Thanks for joining me today. Feel free to comment at the bottom of this video. Please like this video so we can spread it. You can share it with your friends, share it on Facebook. That just gives me an opportunity to share my teaching with as many people as possible. So thank you for being the first person. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.